This video is for a 2015 Ford Transit with a 3.5 Ecoboost. This is what you have to do when the injectors are seized in there. I would highly recommend trying to use the Ford tool, but when that fails, this is the process you have to go through in order to extract these seized injectors. Okay, so I'm back with the injectors. I figured out how to get them out. So I got 2 out, 1 still remaining. So to do this job, you need to get yourself drill bit, 23-30 seconds, and you gotta drill all that plastic off. That drill bit is big enough that it'll cut all that plastic, including the wiring, and just leave the body like this. Then you run in a tap, and this is an M20 by 1.5. And you get yourself a M20 bolt, cut the head off, welded a M12 nut on to a ready rod, thread that into the body and give it your all and it should come out. Okay, so at this point here, I have most of the top of the injector taken off. And as you can see, there's that plastic remaining. So you can just start drilling with your large drill bit at this point. An important thing to remember is make sure there's no fuel vapors. This van's been sitting for a couple of days, so there's no fuel vapors in the area. It gets pretty hot when you're drilling here, and make sure you use lots of lubricant as well. And if you look here, I'm just using a vacuum to suck up all the metal chips that I'm producing. So what you want to do is just drill a little bit, get the vacuum, clean it up. It just keeps everything clean, and don't use an air wand, as it can blow things all over the engine, and we don't want that. And one more thing to remember, when you're drilling, you're going to see this copper wire coming out. That's totally normal. That's how the fuel injector works. So when you're drilling, you're going to see a bunch of copper wire and metal and plastic shooting out. So just remember, cleanliness is number one. I'm just taking a vacuum, cleaning it out as I go, and slowly drilling. There's no need to rush on this job. At this point here, the drill stopped kind of biting into it, so I'll show you what's wrong with it here. So sometimes it'll feel like your drill bit feels like it's not cutting anymore, and all that is this piece just rotating. So what you want to try to do is just knock the edges off. Then you can just grab some needle nose pliers, grab a little edge of it and pull it out. And then right underneath it, there is a pinhole as well. And then also, you'll notice there's a little rod in there that you should take out. This is what moves up and down to activate and let you spray fuel. Okay. So you pretty much want to drill until you got all the plastic and the wire off. Sorry, I'm using my phone, so it's a bit hard to film. So I think I got most of the stuff. Then you want to put your top in. So I'm using an M20 by 1.5. I just found this fits the best. It fits really tight with that drill bit and fits good in that body. Really recommend using a starter tap. It'll make your life a lot easier. And then remember, use tapping oil and back out a quarter turn every turn. Just gotta be careful that it goes in straight. Can be a bit of a pain, but just go slow and you'll get there. Okay, so I got some threads in that. If you look nice. And so, like I said, just go really slow, and if it starts to get tight, come all the way back out, clear all these chips out. Like I said, I'm just using a vacuum, not air gun. I don't want chips flying everywhere into the engine. And then another thing, I put this tape on here. That's just, I measured the depth, and then so if it gets really tight, then I know it's not hitting the bottom. I mean, you can feel it by hand sometimes, but this is just an extra help. And if it gets really tight, just stop, back it out, clean it, and then keep going as far as you can until you get to the tape. And again, lots of lubrication. Another thing I could recommend is after you get a few threads in with where you bottom this one out, is to grab a bottoming tap of the same one and then run it again, and it'll give you a lot more threads all the way to the bottom. This one's tapered and it won't give you threads all the way. And then yeah, once you got that, then we'll put our slide hammer on. So here's a little adapter I made up. So it's M20 by 1.5, and I welded a M12 nut on there. And again, I mean, you can really use anything you want, but I just found the M20 by 1.5 drills like all the plastic out without taking too much off the body, which would not be good. And yeah, so I'd highly recommend using an M20. And then just thread it in. Okay, make sure that little adapter we made up is tight in there. Put a ratchet on it, tighten it. Then we got our little slide hammer on there, make sure that's tight, and then just want to go like that and work it out. And just every maybe 10 hits or something, back this out and retighten this thing, because sometimes they come loose. We want this to be tight and engage with as many threads as possible. That gives us the best chance of getting it out. So I can't really record this part, but you get the idea. And here's the result of that. Look at all that build up on it. But at least it's out. Then just look in that bore, it's gonna be real nasty in there. Yep, full of junk. So again, get a vacuum, try to clean it all out. And at least all my injectors, they're missing the little seat and the aura and the snap ring that are usually here. So make sure you take some needle nose, go pull those out. So there'll be this and the little snap ring. You might need a puller for those as well. I think I'm gonna leave mine in, take them off the new one, and then let it sit, because those are corroded in so good. The only thing they're really there for is kind of to help them hold them down, but you got the fuel rail sitting on top that pushes them down. Also, you got to remember, this is what the injector looks like. This is where the Ford factory tool fits. Highly recommend using that if you can, but in my situation, this plastic was so brittle that even with that tool, it was breaking this off. So then I decided I broke this off, which was pretty easy. Just try to take a little pry bar, break that, get some vice grips, put it on here, wiggle it back and forth. Sometimes I'll actually get the injector out, but in my case the whole thing came off. And then use your big drill bit, and that'll take you down to this. You want to tap in it, throw your little adapter, and it should come out. Now it's a major cleaning time, and we'll put it back together. Also, another thing to remember, which I forgot to mention, inside there's going to be a bunch of pieces that are going to come off. So as you're drilling through here, there's going to be a spring in here that you got to take out. So what'll happen is you'll be drilling, take it out, clean out the inside of it, and then you'll see there'll be something sticking out. So about 3 things. So the first thing you'll reach after you start cutting into the plastic is this spring. So you take that off, keep drilling, and then you'll get to this piece. Take that out, and then underneath that will be this. And then you continue drilling your way through. And so you want to drill to about a 5/8 inch depth, and that should be more than enough. You don't want to go too far, because then you'll go all the way to here, and then now you got 2 pieces to take out. You're just making more work for yourself. So 5/8 is good. Gives you plenty of thread that you can go into and then pull. Here's a little trick for cleaning out the inside of that injector seat. I don't really have a proper vacuum, so I got this shop vac and this tube. So what I'm doing is I'm sticking it in there and closing off as much as I can, leaving the hose inside. And this actually works pretty good. I've cleaned out all the injector seats with this, and it's done a pretty bang up job. I'd highly recommend doing this to all your injector seats. So you just take it and move it to the injector seat you want to clean, and yeah, you'll be good. So that's how you remove a seized injector. I might make another video on the reassembly process. Usually they're not this bad, but this one had a lot of water leaking on top, so it made it a lot harder. So hopefully this helps somebody out there.